Hi, I'm General Booty. I'm the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, and you are now tuned into the greatest podcast on turf. Enjoy.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to this week's first episode of the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Anthony.
I'm Ryan.
As you guys can see by the title of this video, today we are back with our top something fantasy football wide receiver rankings. We're going to go through all these guys, give in-depth explanations on the guys that need it. We're going to cover some sleepers, and we're going to talk some fantasy football here. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. You guys have been loving the fantasy content lately. Keep it coming. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on Facebook now too for our older supporters. So go like us on there. And before we get into it, here's a word from our sponsor.
Little Italy Pizzeria, located in Townsend, Delaware. Be sure to come in and check it out. Let them know that the greatest podcast on turf sent you. They will take care of you. So prove to you're subscribed, you'll actually listen to us, and they will hook you up with an additional discount. With no further ado, it's time to dive into these receiver rankings. And our first three are top three guys.
Are they the exact same?
He missed, and they are the exact same. It is Justin Jefferson at 1. Not really much of a surprise there. Adam Thielen's going. He's got a rookie to contend with. Jamar Chase at 2. He's only 2 probably because he has T. Higgins to contend with.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill at 3. He's got Waddle to contend with, but Tyreek Hill is arguably the best receiver in football.
Yep.
I would rather have him than Jefferson. I don't think we really have to touch more than.
No, I mean, obviously, Jay Jettis is the best receiver in football. Jamar Chase arguably the best, and Tyreek arguably the best.
Yeah. With
all solid quarterbacks. 2 is a question mark, so Tyreek Hill high could be a bad take by the end of this year, but you can't really predict injuries, so it's tough.
Next up, a slight discrepancy. Cooper Kupp, Anthony had him at 5. I had him at 4. I was a little bit worried about his ankle, I believe. However, it sounds like he's going to be 100% week 1. So there's not too much of a worry there. I'm full steam ahead on Cooper Kupp.
No.
I'm full steam ahead on him and Tyler Higbee.
Nope.
I think that if you're in a PPR league and Cooper Kupp or Tyler Higbee are available, they should 100% be on your team because Matthew Stafford will throw the ball 30 times a game, and he does not have that many people to throw the ball to. So Cooper Kupp is the top dog. Tyler Higbee's next. And then it's Van Jefferson or Puka Nacua. And I am on Team Puka.
Respect it.
So I'm going to drop my sleeper right there. A little sleeper at the start. Puka Nacua is my first sleeper. And Cooper Kupp will finish probably, if he plays the full season, he can be wide receiver 1 in a PPR because he will catch 10 passes a game.
I mean, I had Kupp at 5. I'll give him his flowers. Guy's a stud. He's really bursted on the scene since they bought him Matt Stafford and even arguably before that. I don't really believe in the Rams this year. But again, you can't really predict or bank on a guy being injured to rank him too low. So I had him at 5. I think it's respectable for Cooper Kupp. Easily top 1 upside, as Ryan said. Definitely top 5 upside. I'm just not a big believer in the Rams this year. So that's why I had him at 5, which is still good, especially in a loaded team in a time where there's a lot of really good wide receivers in the league, especially for fantasy.
Yeah. Next up, CeeDee Lamb. Anthony had him at 4. I had him at 6.
Really?
So I guess I was a little bit lower on CeeDee Lamb. I had Diggs ahead of him. But he's a Cowboy, so he's going to be on an offense where they're probably throwing the ball a lot. We did bring in a new offensive coordinator. I'm not really sure who the hell he is.
It ain't Kellen Moore.
I probably should know who it is, but...
Fake fan.
Yeah, fake fan, whatever. Brian Schottenheimer.
Who?
Coach Brian Schottenheimer.
Who?
Where the hell is this guy from? I know who's calling the damn plays, and it's Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
So that's really all I can say there. Yep. I know that the Cowboys didn't bring in a 200-pound running back, so they're probably gonna be throwing the ball. It's the Rams guy. Okay. I mean, I'll take it. But there's gonna be less red zone touchdowns going to Ezekiel Elliott, so they have to go to somebody. Yeah. I think CeeDee Lamb might be the guy, and he's gonna be a top 10 receiver this year.
No, I mean, my thought process with CeeDee Lamb is 4 as an Eagles supporter. Wow. This statement has not gone over too well with Danielle, and I will not say this to our dad, but I think that the joke of this is our year for the Cowboys, I think there's a chance this could be the year. To me, right now with the standings of the NFC, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a 2-horse race between the top dogs. I think it's Dallas, and I think it's Philly. I think they're the two best teams in the NFC. Top defenses, so good quarterbacks, good offenses around them. So I think if there's a year for this to be Dallas's year, I think it's this year. We've seen CeeDee Lamb get better every single year he's been in the league. He's clearly the number one option there. They did bring in Brandon Cooks. And with Brandon Cooks being a viable option as well, that is going to have teams are going to not be able to key on CeeDee Lamb as much. So I think that CeeDee Lamb is going to benefit from the team bringing in Brandon Cooks, although you could argue the opposite, that it could hurt him. But I don't think so. I think Dallas has a shot to make a deep run this year, unlike we've seen them do in the past. So that's why I have CD at 4.
Next up is Stephon Diggs. Anthony had him at 7. I had him at 5. He's right after CeeDee Lamb as our wide receiver 6. Diggs is a guy who he's attached to Josh Allen, and when you're attached to a gunslinger like that, I feel like there's literally no way that you can't finish in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just kind of is what it is. He's on that Bills offense that doesn't really have a running back. I know they have Damian Harris, but I'm not really too bought into their running back core, to say the least. And I know, that's going to hurt Anthony's feelings a little bit. What was he last year?
He finished in half PPR as receiver 4.
Yeah, so I don't see any way how he can drop off. Wide receiver 7 year before that, 3 the year before that. Getting Stephon Diggs, he's only 31 years old. He's still got a couple years left in the tank, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I had Diggs at 7 just because it's not a knock against him. I mean, he's obviously arguably a top 5 receiver in the NFL. The guys ahead of him, I think will have better fantasy football seasons than him. That's all it kind of came down to for me. I wasn't knocking Diggs by ranking him at 7. I like a couple other guys better.
I think a lot of these guys are in the same tier. So far, I would arguably Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek. I mean, honestly, a lot of these guys are in the same tier.
I feel like on my list anyway, I feel like the top 7 are arguably all top tier guys. And then I feel like 8 on my list is the next tier, and then it gets weird.
Probably, yes.
Because you have like the really good receivers that would be receiver 1s anywhere else, but they're receiver 2s.
Yeah.
On teams with top 7 guys. So it's like it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Next up is A.J. Brown. Anthony had him at 6. I had him at 7.
Not much of a difference.
No, A.J. Brown, he really just wasn't up there in the top echelon of guys because the Eagles' offense doesn't throw the ball that much. So I know he's very efficient, and I know that he's going to score touchdowns, but he doesn't have the volume that Diggs, Lamb, Cup, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson gets. He does his based on efficiency, and in a standard half PPR league, he obviously takes that step up because he doesn't worry about getting a shit ton of catches. Yeah. I know he does catch some slants sometimes, so he might be another version of slant boy, but he does catch touchdowns, so that's good for him in those less PPR leagues.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say. Again, no knock to Diggs or not boosting A.J. Brown. I just think he could have a better year than Diggs.
Next up is the breakout. A lot of people have him as a breakout. In Dynasty, he's going in the damn first round pretty much. And that is because he is now attached to Aaron Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Anthony, I'm at 8. I had him at 10. I love Garrett Wilson. I don't know how much I love him in redraft necessarily because we haven't seen him do it yet. So why not have a guy that did it? If that makes sense.
Yeah. In
a redraft type of situation. I think Garrett Wilson could definitely do it. He was wide receiver 19 last year, and he showed flashes with Mike White, Zach Wilson, and now he has arguably the most efficient passer in the league, and Aaron Rodgers, who's going to get this man good targets, and he's going to break out. I'd rather have Amon-Ra Waddle, but he should be in for a great season.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process on having Garrett Wilson at 8 was just kind of, again, as Ryan alluded to, he finished as the receiver 19 last year while posting 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, I think that is, with Zach Wilson and Mike White playing quarterback on a very bad Jets team with a bad offensive line, with Breece Hall breaking out and being a stud running back. It's like, and there's probably the biggest upgrade that could have been made at quarterback in the whole free agency and offseason this year was going from Zach Wilson and Mike White to Aaron Rodgers, who I'm not a fan of personally, but I will give him his flowers. It is a giant upgrade.
Yeah.
And
fair enough.
We all saw how Devontae Adams and the success he had in Green Bay, if Garrett Wilson can be a fraction of how good Devontae Adams was, I think Garrett Wilson could easily finish as a top 10 receiver this year.
Next up, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think I never see a list where I'm higher on him than Anthony is.
Yeah, and it's been, 4 years since he's been drafted now? Yeah. He was,
4? Holy shit, I feel like it's 2.
He was Joe Burrow's year.
Damn. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
4th
Anthony
round
had him at 11, I believe. I had him at 8.
I have mock drafts in my notes with Amon-Ra St. Brown going in, to the tail end of the first round of the Packers.
Imagine if we did Dynasty back in the day and you got this man.
Yeah,
This is his 3rd season.
He was Burrow year. So, was he? Or he might have been. We were doing the podcast, so it wouldn't have been Burrow year.
Yeah, this is his 3rd season.
That makes sense.
I thought he was a little bit younger. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is a guy that finished as wide receiver 8 last year. He absolutely emerged for the Detroit Lions, and I don't see how that can change again. The Lions should keep taking steps forward. And who else on it? Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones can hurt him a little bit in touchdown terms. DJ Chark isn't going to hurt him.
The biggest thing that's going to hurt them, DJ Chark's a Panther.
They used to have DJ Chark.
Yeah, he was there last year. David Montgomery, I feel like, is going to hurt everyone for touchdowns on that offense. But I mean, I see what you're saying though, because Jamal Williams was a touchdown leader last year.
Yeah, it should be the same.
Yeah,
shit. And he only caught 6 last year. And
so I could see now that I think about it, I could see what you're saying about Marvin Jones hurting him, because Marvin Jones has been that goal line, throw up a fade to him, and he could come down with it receiver. He was that in Detroit when Stafford and Kenny Golladay were there. So I don't see how he can't be that again.
But 6 last year as an MN, he finishes 8.
Yeah.
He can definitely get 6 again and finishes 8 again.
Almost 1,200 yards. Yeah, I had Amon-Ra again. That's not a knock on him. My guys that I have at 9 or 10, I'm just higher on him than this year.
I think this is the 2nd tier. The Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Waddle, T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, even Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Just like right there on the fringe. And these
Devontae
guys
Smith.
are all the same.
People are watching this video, and there's a name we haven't said yet, and they're probably like, these guys are assholes.
What is the name? Because
my 15.
We didn't forget about it, right?
No, my 15.
Okay. As long as we.
Because I know you forgot Derrick Henry last week.
Yeah. But we're not saying him for a little while, so.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. These people are probably like clicking off the video.
Next up, Jalen Waddle. Anthony had him at 13. I had him at 9, so I'm a little bit higher on Jalen Waddle this year.
I like my 9 better than your 9.
I don't know which your 9 is.
He's been my guy forever.
I'd rather have my 9.
I respect it. I can see that, but no.
Jalen Waddle is a guy who, in my opinion, could very well be the best receiver in football one day. He finishes wide receiver.
Shit.
Huh?
He finished at 7 and Tyreek finished at 3 last year, and they still missed the playoffs. How poverty of a franchise are the Miami Dolphins?
Miami's been one game out of the playoffs for the past 4 years.
How poverty of a franchise
Two missed
are the
6
Miami
games
Dolphins?
last year?
Poverty. You can't spell poverty franchise without Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, you can. You can. He finished as wide receiver 7 last year. He had 1,356 yards, 8 touchdowns. This is a guy that can take it to the house on every single play, just like Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
You can't double this guy because you have Tyreek Hill. You can't double Tyreek Hill because you have this guy. They can draw up plays where this man takes it for 80. I love that. I own Jalen Waddle in our dynasty, and I love it. I have him and Waddle. Never thought I'd see the day, but I'm happy. And I'm about to get David Montgomery and J.K. Dobbins, so...
Throw in Cedric Tillman and the deal's done.
You already sent me a deal, and I'm not doing it.
I respect it, and it's fine.
Cedric Tillman instead of my 2nd.
Yeah. Okay. Again, a lot of these cases with these top guys, I'm just higher on some of these guys than Jalen Waddle this year. It's nothing... I'm not sitting here hating on the guy, but...
Yeah, we're good.
Whatever.
I'm just saying.
No, it's whatever.
Next up, T. Higgins. Anthony had him at 9, I had him at 14.
Yep.
I think he's right in that, Waddle tier.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is just a guy that's on a very, very crowded Bengals team. Joe Mixon that's going to score 10 touchdowns. A Jamar Chase that's going to score 14 touchdowns. A Charlie Jones that's going to come in and score himself 6 just for the hell of it. And then you got Tyler Boyd also in the mix. So That's where I'm at.
I mean, I look at it like this. T. Higgins finished at receiver 17 last year while missing 2 games. Finished above guys like DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp only played 9, Chris Olave. I mean, T. Higgins is a guy who's going to give you over 1,000 yards a season and give you at least 6-7 touchdowns as a receiver too. Now, if T. Higgins is your receiver 1, might hurt a little bit if you go running back heavy early with like the first round or 2. But I mean, T. Higgins, he's a great, arguably the best receiver 2 in the NFL. I would have that debate. And I just think he's a consistent guy. I'm not on the website you're on to tell you where he's finished at every year, but he's been consistent every year, and I think T. Higgins can easily, while playing, if he plays a full season, I think he's easily a top 10 guy.
30, 22, and 17.
So I'm high on him.
So am I a little bit. That's fine.
I mean, he's literally been my guy every year since I was doing 2020 mock drafts on my phone. So before I knew what the draft network was, and I was on like ESPN looking at the draft order and PFF and shit. Like, love T. Higgins. So
next up, Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Anthony had him at 10. I had him at 13. Amari Cooper is a guy who finished as wide receiver 9 last year. He absolutely balled out with 1,100 yards, and he didn't have a quarterback.
Yep.
Everything points towards the sky with Amari Cooper. He's going to ball out in this in this Cleveland Browns team with a stud receiver room, a stud tight end, Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson. The only thing about Amari Cooper I don't like is he is very, very damn streaky.
Yeah.
He is hard to own. He's just like Tyler Lockett. He's a better version of Lockett. Yeah. And some games he will get you 4 points and disappear, and you won't know what the hell happened. In other games he'll get you 30, and he's the best receiver in football. So if you're cool with that, rock with it. If you're not, and you don't draft him, I understand.
Yeah.
His price is a little cheaper because he does leave that taste in people's mouths. Where I'm like, I don't know if I want to draft him here. Like, I would rather have, I don't know.
I mean, the other guys in that range is probably like DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, like guys like that. Maybe I'm looking
I'd
at
rather
my
have Devontae Smith than Amari Cooper, even though I know we both have Amari Cooper over Devontae Smith.
I get it, but in terms of like I'm thinking about it more like streaky. Like I feel like Devontae Smith could be.
I'm saying we know for a fact Amari Cooper's going to finish higher than Devontae Smith, but we would rather have Devontae Smith. That's That's the point.
Yeah. Okay. I understand now. I'm sorry to cut you off. My bad. What the fuck ever.
You just cut me off, and I was trying to make a point.
Whatever.
Go ahead. Do you want to say your piece or go to Chris Olave?
Chris Olave, holy shit. I mean, my thought process on Amari Cooper again finished as receiver 9 last year with Jacoby Brissett and a Watson who sucked. Put up 1,160 yards and 9 touchdowns with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Njoku, Donovan Peoples-Jones out a year last year. How about the Saints signing Kareem Hunt?
They didn't sign him yet. That shit was false.
Was it?
Yep. He's headed to... Because I thought the same thing. I was like, why? Okay, why the hell are they doing it?
I was going to say, that don't make sense.
He's headed to Indy.
Anyways, while you're digging into that, I'll get on Chris Olave.
Free agent Kareem Hunt had what was called a great visit with the Saints and is now on his way to Indianapolis to meet with the Colts on Wednesday. I saw he was signed too, and I was like, what the hell?
I couldn't even tweet about it because I had no service at practice. Because I would have been like, what the fuck? Yeah, like... Chris Olave, I had him at 14. Where'd you have him? Probably higher than me, if based off of the... Because
12.
Okay, so that's about right.
At 25 last year.
Chris Olave.
Timothy.
I look at it like this. Chris Olave, 6 foot 187. That's not the prototypical wide receiver 1 Derek Carr can groom and has had success with. Derek Carr has success with more of like T. Higgins type of guys, taller guys.
Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper.
Yes. But you're getting Chris Olave, who's a speed demon. Guy was a stud last year. I mean, he flashed at times. He finished as receiver 25, slightly over 1,000 yards. He only had 4 touchdowns, so that held him back in the rankings a little bit. I mean, Cooper Kupp finished above him, but that's because Cooper Kupp had 2 more touchdowns. But that's really all it is. But Chris Olave is a guy, I think 14's about right. I think the Saints did upgrade a quarterback by going from Dalton and Jameis and Taysom Hill to Derek Carr, who is one of those mid-tier quarterbacks who will finish as a top 15 quarterback easily, can throw the deep ball, which is where Chris Olave thrived at in college and flashed at last year. So I think it's a really good scenario for Chris Olave. And yes, he did finish 25 last year, and so for you may be saying 14 is a little rich. But I really don't think so. I think Chris Olave is going to have a really good year this year, especially with a healthy Michael Thomas, and they have a loaded running back room, which should draw attention and open up the play action some more, where Derek Carr can have success at. So
Chris Olave is a guy who he is now with a quarterback that can actually throw a very, very good deep ball. I have watched Chris Olave games because I had him last year in fantasy. I've watched that man work.
We saw him play in person.
We did. I've watched him be wide open, and they miss balls to him. I've watched him catch the contested balls. He's a very good receiver, and I think Derek Carr should bring the best out of him. Not much competition there. Mike Thomas, I'm not too worried about. The running backs might poach him a little bit, but I think if Derek Carr still got some in the tank, him and Olave are going to connect on some deep balls, and it's going to be good to see. Anyways, Devontae Adams.
There you go. I'm sure everyone's like, what the fuck?
Anthony had him at 15. I had him 11, so he was tied with.
Where did you have mine number 12?
18.
Damn. All right, Devontae Adams.
All right.
I have Devontae Adams at 15.
I had him at 11.
I
felt bad about putting him down here.
I mean, I'm low on Devontae Adams this year. I get he was a receiver too last year on a very, very bad Raiders team. And that was with Josh Jacobs breaking out, but I look at it like this. Josh Jacobs a question mark. According to Ryan, he's not even in Vegas.
He wasn't.
Then you have Jimmy G, who's never really produced many, if any. I mean, maybe Debo did it once, like 1,000+ yard receivers.
Kittle had a year.
Did he go for a 1K, though?
I mean, he's a tight end. I would say he probably did. And Kittle might have had a year with what's his face? You know who I'm talking about. Shit. Not Beathard. He might have had I think he had a year with Beathard. Who's the other kid?
Oh.
They had a young kid. Not young kid, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, he had a year with Mullins, too.
I just can't see Jimmy G coming in, lighting it up, and dotting up defenses behind a bad O-line that Jimmy G's never played behind a bad offensive line in his career.
Kittle had 1,300 and 1,000 yards.
Holy shit.
1,400, actually. 2018 George Kittle.
Oh, my God. Who was a quarterback? That was not Jimmy G.
I think it was Mullins. It might have been. I think it was Mullins, though.
I mean, no, because there was a year Jimmy G got hurt. I think that was the year they traded.
It was Mullins. I
Okay.
think. Yeah, it was Mullins.
But yeah, moral of the story, so we don't get too crunched on time. I'm not high on Devontae Adams. I don't think Jimmy G is going to be able to do it behind a bad offensive line, and especially with how fragile he's been the past few years.
I love Devontae Adams, a receiver. He is an absolute baller, and I felt really disgusting putting him at 11.
I didn't,
because
dude. I love everybody I have above him.
Top 3 the past 3 years and number 1 2 years ago. And it just feels so disrespectful, and I hope that I'm wrong because it's sad to see, but I got to put him at 11 because of the situation.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's next up.
Yes.
I would rather have Devontae Adams over Calvin Ridley any day of the week. Twice on Sunday.
This.
I'll bet money that Devontae Adams finishes.
That's a
Calvin Ridley.
dumbass bet.
For who?
For you.
Then bet on it.
Calvin Ridley. I had him at 12.
I'm
2
18.
words. Or more than 2 words. 6 words, I think. Maybe more. I'll leave it like I think he's only 29.
That's way more than 6.
And the 2 words, just it's a dumbass explanation, but I'm riding with it. He's a my guy this year. He's back. And Trevor's winning MVP. The 2 words were he's back. But Trevor's winning MVP, he's back, and he think he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Let me see. I want to see.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, the first reason I'm not that high on Calvin Ridley is because there's a lot of people there, and I don't think Trevor Lawrence can support that many people because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that
He did last year.
that good of a fantasy quarterback to where he is going to light up the world.
He did last year.
Second reason Calvin Ridley isn't going to finish that high is because he only did it once, and he did it with the Falcons, and the Falcons are a much higher throw team. The 2020 Falcons threw the ball every single play, I guarantee it.
Okay, can I just tell you something real quick, though, to contradict your
Yeah.
Okay, so last year you say Trevor can't do it. Evan Ingram finished as tight end 6. He had 700 yards, 4 touchdowns. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Christian Kirk finished as receiver 11, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Then not too far down the list, you have Zay Jones who finished as receiver 26, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Zay Jones finished above the likes of Gabe Davis, Jacoby Myers, Juju, Tyler Boyd, Adam Thielen, Mike Williams, your boy.
So where
Christian Watson, Drake London, George Pickens,
Okay,
Debo.
so now we're adding a new person to the list.
Okay, that's fine. You think Zay Jones is going to be another top 20 guy? No, it's
He's
Calvin
still going to be
Ridley.
there?
Is he? I don't, that's
He's still
besides the
gonna be
point.
there.
That's besides the point. That's not what I'm saying. You bring in Calvin Ridley, you're not having Zay Jones involved in the offense. He was there because he
won't
had
be.
to be. He won't be though,
He won't
and
be.
it's fine because he won't. Calvin Ridley's so bad. Calvin Ridley will finish top 15 this year.
No yards
And
disappeared. Only yards were decreased. That's
Calvin
the only
Ridley
thing that
finishes
happened.
top 15 this year.
No, probably not.
I'll make that bet.
Probably finishes around 18. I'll bet that he doesn't finish higher than Devontae Adams.
I'll bet you he finishes top 15.
I bet you don't finish higher than Devontae Adams. If you play all the games, you can finish in the top 15.
All right.
As long as you play 17 games, you can get there.
Calvin Ridley's so back, and I think you're just sleeping on him because you have some.
Then give me Devontae Adams.
If you guys finish this video, go watch our very first video.
Give me Devontae Adams.
Ryan has showed animosity towards Trevor Lawrence for some reason since our very first video on January 5th or 6th,
You want to support 4
2021.
receivers and a running back.
He don't need to support 4 receivers. 2 of
does.
them will take a step back. I don't give a shit what Doug Peterson says. ETN's not going for 1,800 yards. That's not happening.
Tank's going for 1,200. How many yards do you want the Jaguars to get?
Trevor's winning MVP. Calvin Ridley's so back.
Give me Devontae Adams.
No, you can. Okay, I'm not making that bet. Make my bet and I'll make yours and we'll split the bet. We'll lower the price and we'll make both.
We'll settle down the middle. Give me Amari Cooper.
No, because I have Amari Cooper higher than Calvin Ridley.
You also have Devontae Adams lower than Calvin Ridley.
That's besides the point. It's two different.
not.
We're
It's
talking
not.
about 2
It's
different
really
types of
not.
players in Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper. We're talking about 2 different types of players. I'll leave it at that. We're at 27 minutes. And we're through 14 guys.
We have a bet between give me Devontae Adams and DK. You can have Calvin Ridley and who the hell else?
Let's lay out the logistics later because I don't understand how I'm giving you 2 and you're giving me 2. That don't make sense.
Well, because you're low on DK, we're going to argue about that in 20 minutes. So
If we got 20 more minutes. Who's next?
Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Anthony Adams 16 minus 17. He's in a competition. Jalen Hurts isn't going to support that many receivers. It's the same shit as Trevor.
He did it
It is what
last
it
year.
is. What was Devontae Smith? Say how high he was.
Goddard finished at tight end 12. He had 700 yards.
He must have missed games.
He did. A.J. Brown finished at 5.
Yep.
And I might have had to have scrolled past him. No fucking
I
reason
hope so.
for that.
There's no way he's past 30.
Control F. 10. 1,200 yards
Yeah,
with A.J. Brown finishing top 5.
Most likely, ain't going to happen. So,
Yep.
round 15 is pretty respectful.
Yep.
Keenan Allen's up next. 19, Anthony Adams. I had him at 16. I should move his ass down the list.
Did
16
you really?
feels
Holy
gross.
shit.
No, only 16. Nah, I like him more than these other guys, so.
No, I like
I like him more than Devontae Smith.
I'm
Calvin
upset
Ridley.
that I'm upset where I have my 18 now that I really look at this list.
So yeah, Keenan Allen is a guy who Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball 750 times. Somebody needs to reap the benefits of it.
Yep.
Keenan Allen's a slot guy. He will reap the benefits. He's going to be a PPR monster. Standard, I probably wouldn't love him because Quentin Johnson and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler are getting the touchdowns. But Keenan Allen, PPR, he's going to be a monster.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
DJ Moore next up. Anthony Adams at 17. I had him at 19. It's a risk when you're drafting DJ Moore.
Yep.
He could break out and finish top 10. He could also just be DJ Moore and not. Respectfully. I don't want to pull at the heartstrings at all, but
DJ Moore finished at the wide receiver 22 last year with PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, and Baker at the start before he revived his career. He's got Justin Fields. It's an upgraded quarterback. Justin Fields is going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to go show everyone that he can throw the football because he finished, I think, as the 35th than passing last year somehow.
Cooper Rush probably finished higher than the guy.
And they bought him in for a reason. They wanted him in that trade for the number 1 pick for a reason. They wanted to bring in a true receiver one for their franchise guy in Justin Fields. They're getting a deep threat and an overall stud receiver in DJ Moore. And I think he's really going to thrive this year in the Bears offense.
Yeah. Next up, DK Metcalf. Anthony had him at 22. I had him at 15.
Big discrepancy.
DK Metcalf in his career has never finished lower than 22 except for his rookie year. So, first year 32 as a rookie. 7, 12, 18.
Yep.
Been a baller his whole career. Last year, Tyler Lockett, helped him out a little bit. I think JSN's going to help him out a little bit. If Geno Smith can hone in on the deep ball, get a full offseason with DK, I think that this Seattle team can be dangerous.
They had a full offseason last year.
Another full offseason, thank you. And I think that DK can step it up. If Geno Smith gets the deep ball a little bit better, DK's going to ball. He finishes 18 last year. I think 15 is definitely in the wheelhouse.
I think JSN hurts him.
He can only do so much. He's a rookie.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett finished ahead of DK last year and played one less game. DK Metcalf had 141 targets, so holy God. They threw the ball almost as much as Justin Herbum.
They had the fastest rate of offense in football.
Did they really?
Yeah, they just kept playing.
I'm just not that high on DK last year.
They just literally just kept playing.
I mean, yeah, he had over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns last year. I had him in fantasy. I think it's just, another guy I feel like is kind of streaky.
Yeah.
And I don't think Seattle is going to have the ability to feed that many mouths with Geno Smith at the quarterback position.
Geno's going to air it out.
To JSN and Tyler Lockett downfield.
What? That's so ass backwards.
And to Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet.
That is so backwards, it's unbelievable. Okay. Deebo Samuel's up next. Anthony, I'm at 18, I'm at 20. Why were you upset about your ranking for Deebo?
I feel like it's high.
I don't think so.
I mean,
as in high, as in he should be lower? Or like...
He should be lower.
Like lower in a good way or lower in a bad way?
Lower, like...
27?
Not that low, but...
Oh.
I mean, I look at it like this. When Brock Purdy took over, Ayuk and Deebo had pretty much identical target share. I think Deebo was like 25.7% and Ayuk was 25.5%, while George Kittle 8. Question mark at quarterback, and I think Ayuk's going to break out this year and take away from Deebo, who has regressed over the past since he broke out a couple of years ago, especially in the run game, and he has shown some signs of injuries. I think 18's about right for Deebo.
Okay.
You take over. I don't know how I feel about Deebo.
To kill the narrative a little bit, Deebo broke out in 2021, and he had a bad year last year. He had one.
Was
bad
2021 only? Yeah, oh my God, my year. I'm thinking. I thought it was 2 years ago. My apologies.
He was really good his rookie year, and then he got hurt his second year, and then he bounced back his third year and had 300 points, and then last year he had 140.
Yeah.
So he did really good 2 years ago and bad last year.
Yep.
He says that he's going to bounce back, and he sent pictures to Kyle Shanahan of his body, and he's jacked. That's true.
Pause.
It's true.
Okay. Leave it at that. Pause.
He missed 4 games last year due to injury. He was a very streaky player. I believe in Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. They say he's the best player in their damn camp. I don't know how true that is. Holy shit. They won on him. Look at that win streak. Anyways, they just won.
Yeah. That was when Purdy took over, no?
Purdy's the answer.
I guess.
I believe in Ayuk. I think that Deebo can still have success. Christian McCaffrey obviously takes away from that because it's Christian
I forgot
McCaffrey.
he was there. I didn't even name drop him. I forgot he was there.
Yeah, and he is Deebo essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I like Deebo. I think if he gets discounted in your leagues, you can draft him. I'd be fine with him as my wide receiver too if I went running back heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Leave it at that.
Next up, we got Brandon Ayuk. Anthony had him at 20, I had him at 21.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk finished as receiver 15 last year, posting over 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. Wasn't involved in the rushing game. He had 2 rushes for 23 yards. Again, it really comes down to me is we've kind of been waiting for Brandon Ayuk to finally make the jump. Drafted in 2020. Then 2020-2021 season. Was that the year Debo broke out? Or was that...
Debo broke out 2021.
Okay, so that following season. He had a down rookie year. Second year was okay. Last year he was in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse to start. Purdy took over. Ayuk earned his way back up the depth chart, and he had a really big target share. And again, he's really flashing in camp. I feel like that was a report last year, sometimes over the contrary, that he was in the doghouse and was with the third team. So we really don't know with Brandon Ayuk, but I think that the target share he had when Brock Purdy took over last year, with McCaffrey eating, with Kittle doing good, and with Debo being up and down, I think that Ayuk could be in for a big year this year.
Next up, Terry McLaurin. We both had him at 23.
Yeah. I mean, normally I would have him around like the 17, 18-ish range with DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, Debo. Sam Howell's a question mark, though. I mean, the story of camp is that him and McLaurin have been a good duo, and that's been the number one guy. But I feel like last year I didn't watch much Commanders football. But I feel like when I did see it, I feel like it was Dotson and Howell. I could be wrong there, but I feel like that's just from what I saw from my perspective.
Training camp, it's been McLaurin, but yes, you are right. Last year, it's been
Yeah, again. So in shorts, it's been McLaurin, but when it mattered, it was Dotson. That's kind of where I'm at with it, and that's why I had Terry McLaurin at 23 a little bit lower.
Yeah. Next up, Christian Kirk. Anthony, I'm at 21. I am at 31. There's the bet.
Damn.
You got Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. I got DK and Devontae Adams.
I'm banking on a team.
Run it.
Let's talk about it after, but I hope I get the gentleman's rule, barring a bad injury.
I'd say both.
Like I gave you with
Tua. We
Tua.
both get the gentleman's rule.
It's fair. We'll talk about it after. Knock on wood, though. Christian Kirk. I think Trevor could win MVP this year, and I think the Jags are going to make a run. Yes, the AFC's loaded. I'm high on the Jags. I'll leave it at that.
I'm not going to bash the Jags.
Guy went receiver 11 last year.
Yep. Mike Evans. Anthony, I'm at 28. I'm at 25. That's just pure respect to Mike Evans. I mean, he's been doing it every single year. What did he finish last year? Right.
Mike Evans was 16 last year, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns.
It seems like he does it every year, no matter what the quarterback is. So I think that we should.
It's tough because I look at it like this. He did it when Jameis was there. They were throwing the fuck out of football.
Yes.
He did it with Brady. They were also throwing the football. Are they going to be throwing the football that much with sounds like Kyle Trask, unfortunately?
He's throwing picks, too.
It was funny. I saw it was like the day after the report came out about Baker and the turnovers. It was like Kyle Trask. He like said in an interview that ball security was like his big, like the focal point of his offseason.
Oh, man.
It's tough for Mike Evans, but you got to give him his flowers. Guy's gone over 1,000 yards for the past 10 years, and I think he's been in the league, 11 or 12? Yeah. That's really all it comes down to for me. He's going to eat. He's going to have his games against bad defenses, and that's all it comes down to.
And he's going to have those games where you're like, damn.
Why did I draft him?
Yeah. I have a Buccaneer.
Yep.
Drake London up next. Anthony, I'm at 24. I had him at 30. He's a Falcon, man. I know I'm hating on the Falcons, but, Bijan's probably going to eat, even though he's the running back 3. Kyle Pitts is probably going to eat. Matt Collins, 8. And their quarterback can't throw a ball.
I look at it like this. He had 117 targets last year. Yes, Kyle Pitts was there. And Patterson was hurt. He had 800 yards and 4 touchdowns. I look at it like this. Half of that was with Mariota at quarterback. I am a Falcon believer. I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff run. But with as bad as the NFC is, there's a chance that if Desmond Ridder is even average, they could be competing with New Orleans for the division. Now, again, I have Drake London low. You probably think it's high. I have him at 25. I think it's about right for a wide receiver who was a top 5 pick with an unproven quarterback. That's where I'm at with it.
D-Hop, up next. 26, 28. D-Hop is a guy who there is some risk around him. I feel like his name is probably boosting him too high to where I would draft him.
Yeah.
He's on a Tennessee Titans team where Ryan Tannehill has supported A.J. Brown before.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much D-Hop still has left in the tank. Derrick Henry's going to get the ball a shit ton. But, I don't know, dude. Tannehill has always been a good fantasy quarterback. He's always scored a lot of fantasy points, and he's always supported receivers that were good. I don't know.
In 9 games last year, while missing Kyler Murray, some of them, D-Hop finished with 700 yards and 3 touchdowns. In theory, it's only going to go up from there.
In theory.
It does hurt, though, that it is a run-first offense. But again, he did support A.J. Brown. The play-action game will help with D-Hop and also help with Chig. And I think that with how... And with Traylon Burks there, who we didn't even touch on, who I didn't even have ranked now that I think about it.
Neither did I, and I don't regret it.
Nope. But I think that with the young, potentially explosive pieces they have around D-Hop, I think that could feed to his advantage. So defenses can't literally key on him. And it definitely helps Derrick Henry. Because now you ain't putting 8 in the box, and it's 6 in the box, 8 in the box anymore.
Now you just double DeAndre Hopkins and put everybody else in the box.
Yeah. And you either sack Ryan Tannehill or pray to God he can make a throw in time.
Yeah. And it's only going to Traylon Burks.
Yep.
Because if you double D-Hop, that's all you got to do. Next up, Tyler Lockett. Anthony, I'm at 30. I'm at 24. We're both disrespecting Tyler Lockett.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Lockett is a guy he's a headache to own.
Yep.
He is very, very, very inconsistent.
Yep.
And is what it is. He's probably going to finish higher. Do I really want him on my fantasy team? Not really. Because he has those weeks where he gets you 2
Okay, then
points.
take Dobbins out of the trade and put Lockett in, and you have a deal.
I literally just said I don't want him on my fantasy team. I don't
That's
know
why I said
where-
it. That's another.
That makes
I don't
no
want him
sense.
either.
Okay, I'll take him. Just add him in the trade that we have now, and I'll accept it.
No, put Tillman in, and then you got it.
So Tillman. Okay, we'll talk about it after.
Yes.
So I put in Tillman, and you put in Lockett, and we accept it.
Maybe.
Okay, Jerry Jeudy. Anthony Adam at 27, I am at 29. I refuse to have a Denver Bronco on my team this year. I won't do it. I don't care if they burn me. I don't give a Hoover damn. It ain't happening.
Judy hasn't just proven himself. Honestly, when I did my rankings, I forgot about him. 28 could be a little rich. He's been very unproven.
Do you want me to look up his career finishes?
He finished at 21 last year, 972 yards, and I think 6 touchdowns, that is.
Ass.
Yeah. I mean, his rookie year, he went for 800 yards. 2021, 467, but he only played 10 games. Last year, he played in 15 with 972. In theory, it is trending up. It's just very, very hard with the Broncos and with the mouse they have to feed and with Russell Wilson. Because for all we know, Pete Carroll's a quarterback guru and made Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson is nothing without Pete Carroll. But only time will tell in terms of Jerry Jeudy. That's why I have him ranked as the 28th best fantasy football wide receiver.
Deontay Dropson. Anthony Adam, I believe, 25 or 26. I am at 32. And honestly, I feel like George Pickens probably finishes higher than Deontay Johnson has always been.
Pickens finished above him last year.
That's because Deontay Johnson didn't catch a single freaking touchdown. And there's no way that can go down. It can only go up. But however, it might not go up.
I'll tell you right now, after that season, there is no way Deontay Johnson does not catch a single touchdown this year. There's no way.
I would hope not.
I had Pickens above Deontay Johnson, but I definitely think, like Ryan said, he finished as a receiver 39 last year, 800 yards, no touchdowns. There's no way that happens again.
Judy finished as receiver.
I just said it.
I know, and he had
21 with 900 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference.
Yeah, I mean that's the gap.
Yeah.
That's literally the gap right there.
Touchdowns. And it's because the Steelers were not very efficient on offense at all last year.
And in theory, they should be better with Kenny Pickett getting another year.
And a better offensive line.
Better O-line.
Yep.
Chris Godwin.
I had him at 33.
26.
I don't think Baker Mayfield is supporting 2 top 35 wide receivers. Or Kyle Trask. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be one or the other. I don't know who it is. Yes, I know Chris Godwin has had his years, and I know he's been a stud. No disrespect to the guy. Would love to get him on the pod. If you're watching this, please check your DMs. I've reached out to like 3 different people, and it just has not happened. But I find it hard to believe that Baker Mayfield and or Kyle Trask will be able to support Mike Evans and Chris Godwin with Rashad White eating, with the O-line being an injury away from what we saw last year, and completely the team just imploding.
I had him at 26. He's the slot guy. He's always been productive, and that's really, I'm just respecting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That's all I'm doing.
I respect
And am I going to be happy to own a Buccaneer? Absolutely freaking not.
Again, it's not a knock to Chris, but it's more so
situation.
Yes, it's completely situational.
Speaking of situation, Marquise Brown.
Didn't have him ranked.
22.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm high on Marquise Brown, the player. Marquise Brown, the player, is an absolute baller, and he is the only guy there. When you're the only guy there, he's a baller. If he stays healthy, I promise you he finishes a lot higher than what we think. When he's on the field, he puts up 18 fantasy points. And, I'm just hoping he's never finished higher than 23. And,
completely situational. Again, you can't bank on injuries, but sometimes it's okay to look at track record.
Sometimes, yeah.
And looking at Colt McCoy probably being the week 1 starter.
And Marquise Brown never finishing a season, I don't think.
And his career-long injury report.
His foot report.
Yes, you gotta keep that in mind while doing these rankings.
Yes. Christian Watson up next.
I had him at 30.
33.
Again, Jordan Love is just a very big question mark. You don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get a team that just relies on involving both running backs and a tight end just because Jordan Love isn't all you thought. Or you could get Jordan Love living up to the first round hype and just airing it out. That's why I had Watson so low.
Yeah, I'm not too high on him.
Yeah.
Tight end's been balling. Romeo Dobbs is always also there, and they have another receiver there, and it's just messed up.
They have the guy from Michigan State. I'm drawing a blank on
Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Mike Williams. Anthony, I'm at 36. I'm at 27. It's the same damn reason I'm giving Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnson any type of love. Herbert's throwing the ball 750 times. If Mike Williams is healthy, he's going to finish high. If he's not healthy, he's going to finish around 36, like Anthony said. And he has the track record. Like we said, these bigger guys don't really stay healthy too much. And
Unless your name's D-Hop.
I don't think D-Hop's that big, is he?
D-Hop's like 6'2", 6'3".
Mike Williams 6'4".
It's only an inch.
Okay.
Although it's a pretty big difference.
I for some reason I think D-Hop's 6'1".
No way.
6'1".
Damn. Okay.
He is tall as me.
But yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on all the reasons about Mike Williams and why one would have him ranked a little bit lower than you.
Brandon Cook's our final guy that we ranked, and then we'll jump into some sleepers.
Again, high-powered offense is going to throw the ball a lot in Dallas.
Receiver 2.
Receiver 2 in a very high-powered offense.
All right. Any sleepers that you wanted to mention?
Again, George Pickens, I had him at 24. I don't think you had him ranked.
No, but I like him.
Guy's been the best player on the field in Pittsburgh during camp so far.
He's fun to own, too, because it's fun to watch him.
Yeah. Some sleepers for me, though. I had Elijah Moore at 34. I think the Browns invested a pretty early second-round pick into Elijah Moore.
Did you see he was running snaps out of the backfield?
Yes, exactly. Point proven. They invested a lot of capital into him, and there's no way a team trades a second-round pick for a young receiver and does not use him, and he does not have impact on the offense.
So what do we say about Chase Claypool? Does he deserve a spot up?
There may be some exceptions, but for the most part,
that's actually the earliest second-round pick you could have gave.
Yeah. Damn. Elijah Moore was. If you count Brandon Cooks as a sleeper, sure, I like him. Elijah Moore. I had Dotson at 35.
I said Brandon Cooks is a value more than.
I would have had Pittman Jr. higher, but the quarterback situation, you don't know what you're getting from Anthony Richardson year one, and Minshew's the backup.
Yeah. So I had a couple sleepers. One of them being Jahan Dotson, like we mentioned. He's a potential breakout guy.
Yeah.
And the talent is there. Quarterback play, we don't know. Puka Nacua, as I touched on earlier, should, in theory, if you want to throw a flyer on him, last round pick, perfect. Jordan Addison, he's the wide receiver 2 in the Vikings. I know he's a rookie, and rookie wide receivers don't tend to do great.
I don't think we had any rookies ranked.
No, and they don't tend to do great. The numbers aren't backing it. I mean, Jay Jett is the good.
Jamar, but those guys
are top tier guys.
They were. I mean, Jay Jettis wasn't a top anything pick, but
they're the best receivers in football. So
yeah.
Jordan Addison.
Sorry to cut you off, but if Jordan Addison comes in and is a top 3 receiver in the NFL, I will be extremely surprised.
Yeah, but Jordan Addison is the number 2 on a pass-high Vikings offense, and there's not much. I mean, Madison's there, but nah. Hawk. Yeah, nah. It's Addison, and they've used 2 receivers for a while. So Jordan Addison, potential sleeper.
Yep. And that's going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.